All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a battle that's raging silently all around us during the summer months. I mean, if you've ever felt like your shoes are literally melting to the Texas pavement, imagine exactly how your car feels. We are talking about the completely hostile force of extreme ambient heat. And more specifically, we're going to see how it wages an all-out war against tightly packed, highly tuned European performance engines. You know, when we think about car trouble, we usually think about age or mileage, right? But climate actually acts as this invisible threat, just waiting to exploit weaknesses that you'd probably never even notice in a milder environment. 55. Just think about that number for a second. That is the staggering number of triple-digit heat days recorded in the Dallas-Fort Worth area during the brutal summer of 2023 alone. With a normal August average high sitting just shy of 96 degrees, your vehicle isn't just dealing with a random hot afternoon here and there. It is enduring a sustained, grueling marathon of extreme temperatures.
Section 1. The physics of the battle. Shrinking the cooling margin.
So to really understand why this matters, we actually have to look at the physics of this battle. Defending against heat? It's not just about an engine getting hot. It's literally a physical fight against the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. See, a cooling system's main job is to regulate the engine and carry excess heat away through coolant, oil, and moving air. But here's the catch. Heat transfer requires a temperature difference. On a really pleasant 70-degree day, the coolant entering your radiator has a massive temperature difference from the surrounding air, which means the system easily rejects that heat. But on a 105-degree day, that temperature differential shrinks dramatically. Your car simply has a much smaller thermal budget or margin to spend on shedding that excess engine heat. Now, out in the real world, driving throws all these compounding factors at that shrinking cooling margin. A healthy European vehicle is absolutely engineered to handle a 105-degree day on its own, for sure. But think about stop-and-go traffic, which totally robs your car of natural airflow. Add an extended idling, heat just radiating up from the scorching hot pavement, soaring air conditioning demand, and warm overnight temperatures that prevent the car from ever truly cooling down. Together, these act as a relentless barrage. They steal your engine's remaining cooling margin, setting the stage for an underlying weakness to suddenly reveal itself. Moving right along to Section 2, the armor, the M3's complex defenses. So how exactly do modern performance cars fight back against all this? Well, they wear a high-tech suit of thermal armor. Let's look specifically at the brilliant engineering of the current G80 generation BMW M3 to see how this works in practice. Its thermal management is actually separated into interconnected, yet totally distinct systems. You've got your high-temperature circuit, which manages the main engine block and the dedicated engine oil cooler. And then, completely separately, you have a low-temperature circuit managing the compressed air coming from the turbochargers via a water-to-air intercooler. Now, this complexity is amazing for performance, but here's the catch. A silent failure in one circuit, say the low-temp charge air cooler, might completely evade a standard dashboard warning for the main engine coolant. Now, BMW built an absolute fortress here. Actually, they equipped this S58 engine with an intercooler that gives you roughly 50% more cooling performance than the previous generation S55 engine. That's a massive thermal capacity. But that absolutely does not make proactive maintenance optional. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It means you have way more pumps, more heat exchangers, and more airflow paths that you have to keep healthy. Which brings us to Section 3, chinks in the armor, when heat meets weakness. Okay, we absolutely have to address a huge source of anxiety for performance car owners in the summer. You know the feeling. You park your car, shut off the engine, and the cooling fans sound like a jet preparing for takeoff. So is that loud fan operation actually normal? Well, surprise. That super loud fan, or maybe even a slight reduction in power on a blisteringly hot day, is usually just a calculated defense mechanism. It is not an immediate overheating failure. The engine management system is constantly reading the elevated intake temperatures and intentionally adjusting boost maps or running those fans longer just to protect the powertrain. It's really just the system working exactly as designed.
But, and this is a big but, we really have to contrast that normal self-preservation behavior with severe symptoms that demand immediate, specialized attention. If you see a drivetrain warning message pop up, or you experience a repeated loss of power under conditions the car normally handles with ease, smell coolant, see your fans kicking on to full speed immediately on a cold morning start, or watch your temperature gauge climb without stabilizing, yeah, those go way beyond normal protection. Those are massive red flags that your cooling margin has been fully exhausted by a failing component. You know, what's fascinating is how this invisible threat has evolved dramatically over the generations. The definition of a cooling problem totally changes depending on exactly what you drive. For an older E46 M3, the vulnerability is often just age-related. Think brittle plastic fittings and aging rubber hoses giving out under heat cycles. Moving to the E90 V8 generation, the whole focus shifts to oil temperatures and aging seals. With the twin-turbo F80, charge air cooling and turbo heat become the primary targets. And with the modern G80, the threat is all about those incredibly complex electronic controls and multiple interconnected cooling circuits. Age definitely matters, but the specific engineering dictates the weakness.
Section 4. Fortification. Preparing your engine.
So, knowing all of this, how do we fight back? Well, I'll tell you right now, a basic quick lube oil change is simply not going to cut it to prepare a highly tuned European engine for a Texas summer. First off, we have to acknowledge how you actually use the car. Your specific use pattern dictates exactly what type of heat load you're subjecting your engine to. If you are just doing spirited street driving and daily commuting, your diagnostic focus should really be on traffic airflow, AC load, and coolant integrity. But if you take that same exact car out to the track, your primary concern shifts completely to sustained oil, transmission, and brake temperatures, which requires extensive pre- and post-event fluid reviews. Essentially, your driving style dictates your diagnostic needs.
Regardless of how you drive, a proper summer evaluation really requires testing these 5 interconnected systems as one whole unit. First, coolant level and system pressure. You want to check for slow seepage when the engine is completely cooled. Second, airflow through the front cooling stack. Listen, a single plastic bag or a buildup of leaves blocking a low-mounted cooler can literally destroy your heat rejection capabilities. Third, you've got to use the exact correct factory-approved engine oil specification. Don't just guess that a thicker viscosity is going to help. Fourth, inspecting the secondary low-temperature charge air circuit for those turbos. And finally, fifth, testing the battery and electrical controls. The extreme electrical demand of running AC and cooling fans at maximum speed can quickly expose a weak battery.
And it's absolutely critical to understand the limitations of basic tools here. Your standard off-the-shelf code reader just cannot see the full picture of this interconnected thermal armor. European car specialists rely on sophisticated factory diagnostic software, like BMW's ISTA and ISID, to read stored fault information, operational conditions, and temperature events. These advanced tools can actually compare the speed a computer commanded a water pump to run at versus the speed it actually ran at. That means they can catch a failing electric pump long before your dashboard ever lights up. Specialists actually share a pretty vital piece of advice for this exact situation. It goes like this. Before changing hardware, establish that the stock system is full, properly bled, unobstructed, and operating as designed. The takeaway here is incredibly simple. Before you go out and spend thousands of dollars on aftermarket cooling upgrades to survive the summer, just ensure your vehicle's incredible factory armor doesn't already have an invisible crack in it. A stock system operating at 100% capacity is seriously resilient. Which leaves us with this final thought. We've seen the hostile physics of extreme heat, the complex multi-circuit armor your vehicle relies on, and the subtle, totally invisible ways that armor can fail. So the real question you have to ask yourself before the peak of summer hits is this. Is your European engine fully fortified, properly bled, and communicating flawlessly across all its modules? Or is the extreme heat already exploiting a weakness you can't even see? Don't wait for a warning light on a 105-degree day to find out. Seek a comprehensive diagnostic inspection and give your engine the cooling margin it actually needs to win the battle.